Hi, this is a video to show you how to create a new employee and download them to the biometric terminal that you're wanting the employee to clock on. So, first thing you've got to do is actually make sure your biometric terminal is on. If it's not on, it can't send the employee to the unit. So, if we go to the system settings on the top right, the first thing you can do is check your terminal is online by going to terminals and seeing the heartbeat. So that's number one thing. Second thing is then going to create the employee. So add the plus button. We'll go to the plus button and go to create a person. Now you'll need to use the next available badge ID. And word of warning here, if you're using a badge ID that's already in use with a left employee, then the terminal will think it's the old employee. So you do need to use a new badge ID or remove the old badge ID from the left employees. So you'd put in your new badge ID, say for example that, and your new employee, and then there's a couple of things you need to do. You need to put an employee on a roster. So whether that's an open roster or a defined roster, that's essential. Otherwise, when they do clock, it won't put the record anywhere. And then we do need to define a terminal group. A terminal group can be a single or a multiple set of terminals that the employee is then associated to. So if we assign to all terminals, and there'll be settings on your environment depending on how many, and then save this record, we've then got this employee badge number with a roster and a terminal group set up. So once that is done, and obviously you should tag the employee and put whatever other credentials in that you need to. But what you then need to do is go to Setup Terminals, select your terminal. So here's my unit, 1909, which is today's date. Go in and then tick Employees and then save, and that will then actually send that new employee down to that specific terminal. And you confirm the changes have been made, and that's it. Now, you may have to wait a couple of minutes for that new record to go down to the device, but once that's then done, you can then enroll the employee and clock them in. If the terminal is on a SIM, it may not send the it will have sent the record, but it may need to reboot. So one option is if it hasn't, if you're not seeing that new ID number on the terminal, just turn on off the unit and on again, and it will pick up a new signal. You'll see here it's lost the heartbeat because we've sent data down. But if you re-enable and turn on and off the terminal, that should refresh. So hopefully that helps. And then the next second stage of this video will be showing actually that new person on the terminal. The employee to the terminal. So now what we need to do is enroll that person. So if we put in the supervisor PIN, which will be 1234, or a unique PIN if your business has set that up. And then we're going to say, right, we're enrolling employee 489. So that is new employee. Now that won't say new employee in your system, that will say the name of the person. If I then put my finger on, that's then registered that employee with that finger. And then if I now go to clock in, it's clocked in new employee. And that is how you create a new person, download them to the unit, and clock and enroll them. Hope that's helped. Okay, so the employee's been enrolled, set up, and then clocked. So the only thing I didn't do was tag and associate that employee in the previous bit of the video. So let's just go back in and associate that employee to a site, or that new employee to a tag, and then they'll show up on the live screen and we can see their clocking record, and that is the process completed. So if we then go and say this employee works in ABC production, save that, go back to the live screen, and we then filter if we wanted by production, scroll through the list, and there is our new employee who has clocked in, and obviously clocked in late because the time here is now 10 o'clock, and we can see the clocking records come in below, and if we double click on that we can see they clocked at 9:48 on the biometric terminal, and it's applied a default cost center and activity, which there are other videos on how to set that up. So that's the sort of process from start to finish. Hope that helps.